What's up, Dupe City fam? Welcome back to the Unmagical series by Dupe City Co. In today's video, I'm recreating pixie dust wax melts from the Magic Candle Company using the same fragrance they use in their products, and that's called Pixie Dust by Just Scent. You can get 1 ounce of this fragrance for $3.25 at justscent.com. And I'm not just remaking these wax melts, I'm making them better. And when I'm done, you may even consider them to be magical. As always, I must remind you that I'm in no way affiliated with Magic Candle Company, and I make no profit off any of the products that I recreate. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to be notified every time I release new Dupe City Co. Disney DIY content, which is every few days. And with that said, let's get started. Now, I'm going to start as I normally do and tear out the pitcher and measure out the wax for the wax melts. However, this video is going to be vastly different from anything else I've made thus far, and that's because I'm getting really creative with this. I'm going to be making 2 wax melts today. One is just your general green brick of wax melts. The other one is going to be jazzed up a little bit. So we're going to go through the process of making the regular ones now, and I'm putting in about 2.5 ounces of wax. Now you see to my left, I have a wax warmer with 2 stainless steel containers on it. One is actually just a tin for a candle, and the other one is just like a condiment bowl. I'm keeping wax warm because I'm going to use that for my color variations. That's going to come into play a little bit later. Alright, so as you can see here, the scent we're using is Pixie Dust by Just Scent, and that fragrance link is listed down in the description box below. So we're going to put in about 0.2 ounces into our pitcher. However, I do want to fragrance the oil that we're going to be using for the color variations because I don't want to just be putting plain unscented wax in. That's going to weaken the overall effect of the wax melts. So we are going to put about 2 milliliters of fragrance into each of these containers over here, and we're going to stir. Now it doesn't need a ton of mixing, just incorporate it. And while I've been mixing this fragrance, I've been keeping an eye on the temperature to make sure that the wax in the pitcher is cool enough to take the fragrance oil. And as I just mentioned, we are adding about 0.2 ounces of the Pixie Dust fragrance in here. And I want to tell you, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my review, but this fragrance really surprised me and I find it very interesting. So after I add my 0.2 ounces, I'm going to fully incorporate once more, and you don't want to see that, so we're going to quickly get through this part. So of the 3 liquid dyes that I'm going to be using today, this one is Key West Green. If you watch my videos, you will see me use this one a lot. I'm also going to use yellow to brighten up the green to make it more of a spring green, and I'm also going to use just a hint of black to make a green color darker, to give me a really, deep dark green, just to all kind of incorporate the colors of nature. Think pixie dust, nature, fairies, flowers, green, that kind of thing. So you can see me right here that I'm adding color to the stainless steel containers I have on the left, but I decided that I didn't like the way those colors ended up, and I did change it out, so you won't actually see me adding colors in the next portion of the video, but that's basically what I did. I just added some color to this little amounts of wax, and if you want a darker color, you're going to use less wax. If you want a lighter color, you're going to use more wax. That's why I have the 2 different containers. So while it may not make sense to you now as to what I'm doing, it will make sense to you when we make a beautiful mess here in just a few minutes. Okay, so now we are ready to pour in the first pack of wax melts here. We are only using the green scented wax that I put in the pitcher. We're not actually using anything that I have over here on the left. This is what I'm calling my boring wax melts. They are pixie dust scented, they are green. That's about all you're gonna get. And we're gonna let this set up and start on our next set. And for our next more magical pack, we are going to start out the same way. Tear out our pitcher, add the wax, and let it cool. Now here you're going to notice that my wax got too hot. You're going to be able to see the thermometer. It's not ruined, it's not scorched. I just have to let it cool down before I add anything to it, which you'll see that I do. And as you can see, the containers on the left are empty once again. So we're going to get that taken care of with the different colors of wax. We're still using the Key West Green, the yellow, and the teeny tiny little bit of black to give me some colored variations. Now you may notice as well that I used more wax this time around than the last pack. That's because when I mentioned a beautiful mess just a little bit ago, I mean it. Because I'm using a tool that sometimes, pushes the wax over the edge. You'll see what it is in just a moment. But because I may lose some wax during this coloring process, I use more just to compensate in case I need to pour just a little bit more in. And while the wax is cooling down to 185 degrees, I'm going to work on the extra coloring I have over here on the left. And what you may notice as well, when I get to coloring everything, I'm going to leave the wax white. It's going to be clear. We're not going to add any color to the picture because we want the wax white so that when we put the color variations in it, it really shows, it really pops. And one other element that I'm using for these wax melts is glitter. And this is glitter from Mad Micas. And then just another one that I got off Amazon, but we're using the pixie dust and the green. Now, this pixie dust is special because if you've ever gone to Castle Quarter at the Magic Kingdom, you can ask to be pixie dusted. And that really fine silvery pixie dust that's holographic, that's what they'll sprinkle on your head. So I decided that it was appropriate to use it for this as well. And one more time, we are using the Pixie Dust fragrance from justscent.com. We're going to be using the same 0.2 of an ounce for that, and the additional colors over here on the left are fragranced as well. Now that our wax has cooled down to 165 or below, we're going to add the fragrance and mix it in really well, and then we'll be finally ready to pour. This is where things are about to get messy, and it's going to be messy for anybody, but that's okay. I just used paper towels. I cleaned up the wet wax as I went. Melted wax is much easier to clean up than the hardened wax. So we're going to start by pouring in the fragranced wax. We're going to let it sit. What we want is this to just start to get cloudy, and I'm going to inject the darker greens inside of the individual wax pockets, if you will. I'm actually not sure what those are called. I've never had to think of a name for them before. But you're going to see here in just a moment, we're going to do that. And what I'm getting ready now is, this is called a Debosser. It is a mini heat gun. It's hotter than a hairdryer, but not as blastingly hot as an actual heat gun. This is not going to melt the plastic for the wax melt pack. A regular heat gun would. I've done it before. A hairdryer is just too wild. The small nozzle on this heat gun here is perfect for directional heat, just hot enough to, do what we needed to do. So now I'm going to take my empty pipette and fill it with the lighter of the two colors. Now the reason I'm going lighter first is because dark on light is possible. Light on dark, not so much when wax is concerned. So I'm just going to drop in some color and give it a blast with the heat gun, and I'm going to repeat this off and on. I call this type of wax art the ugly duckling because it's going to look ugly, as you can see here. It doesn't have any rhyme or reason. We're just putting it in there. It's going to be pretty terrible looking until you get the finished product. I promise it'll be worth it. But right now we're just putting wax in and hitting it with a heat gun. Then after we do this initially, we are going to let it sit. We want that wax to cloud up again because we want to start working with the top and really giving it that final finished look. Okay, so now armed with our pipettes and our different colors of wax, we are going to drip some wax on top and then hit it with the heat gun because we want like a feathered nebula look. So let's do that now, but we are going to speed it up. I know it still doesn't look like much, but it's going to get prettier. But right now we're going to add our glitter. We're going to start with our green glitter here and just sprinkle it on. And then we are going to use the heat gun to gently melt just the very top layer of the wax so that the glitter sticks. And then we're going to repeat the same process with the holographic pixie dust glitter. Here is the beautiful, almost finished product. It is so pretty right now, but as it cools, it's going to be so much brighter, like that. And I promise, these are the same 2 packs of wax melts that we started with when we began. I know it didn't look like it was going to end up like this, but trust in the process. It's beautiful. You see your white wax, you see your dark green wax, you see your light green wax, you see your different colors of glitter that really shine and shimmer. It's beautiful. I really like to compare them. So I say on the left you have just your basic pack of wax melts, maybe someone who's obsessed with cars, maybe wants to add to their collection, doesn't really want to put a lot of thought in the product that they offer their customer. And on the right is really kind of just someone who's artsy and wants to make sure that people are getting the experience, the magical experience that they should be getting when they buy from a company that has the word magic in it. Now, as for my thoughts on this fragrance, pixie dust, what is it? Well, the website says this. A wonderful blend of sweet berries, plums, pears, strawberries, and a hint of citrus sprinkled with sweet sugar crystals. It's not really as fancy as it sounds. It's really just Pixie sticks, people. It's Pixie sticks, you know, the candy you used to eat and do other things with. Is this a great scent for the pixie dust fragrance? Well, there's no pixie dust fragrance, so it's subjective. It could work, sure. I really spent a lot of time thinking what else could possibly be used for the scent, and my thoughts were maybe something effervescent, something bubbly, something fun, pixie, and with a little bit of spice to it. Because Tinkerbell, well, she's a little spicy, to be honest. You know, this is okay enough. If you like it, you like it. It's not a bad scent, but I happen to not be a fan of pixie sticks. I know I'm the only person, right? So it just doesn't work for me, but it may work for you. I don't hate it. That's saying something. And with that, I am off to create my next Dupe City Co Disney DIY video. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to be notified every time I release new content, which is every 3 days. And remember, our new series coming up, It's a Smell World. That is coming in August, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.